I was on the phone the other night with one of my closest friends from back home, and we've known each other since we were teenagers, so our conversations go real deep, like no filters. We're talking hours. And at one point he said, "Bruh, this isn't getting me on a yacht." And it hit me. Not because it was funny, but because it was true. In that moment, I realized that him and I were talking about the exact same dream, but from opposite sides of the glass. Two men, same age, same hunger, just completely different timelines. Most men don't lose their dreams overnight. They just slowly renegotiate them with reality. Now, to give you guys some context, my mate works for a Fortune 500 company in Australia. He is absolutely killing it. He's well and truly blowing into the six figures. He's chasing down $1 million net worth, roughly $750,000 at 29, all self-made, full discipline and sacrifice and solid investing. He's traded his 20s for momentum. No backpacking, no breaks, just total focus. And it has, really paid off for him. And if you compare that to my situation, which I've spoken about a lot on this channel, it's the total opposite of that situation. Like, I exited corporate 10 months ago, 11 months ago now, and I closed down my first version of my business, still have basically a handful of clients and a trickle income coming through there, and we've got one active retainer on the business that we built on this channel. So I'm very early in the process, but I've been running for a while now and I am free. If we take his situation, he's optimizing for stability and certainty, whereas I am fully optimizing for expansion. And it's something that me and him talked about in great detail. He told me that he won't tolerate any form of stagnation. Like, he's okay with a slow growth curve so long as the slope remains upward. Like, he can't stand for a period of flat and absolute worst case, going backwards. He just won't tolerate that. And the thing is, to go exponential, like to truly jump from a linear curve to an exponential curve and really get somewhere big, you have to tolerate chaos. You have to stomach a stretch of significant uncertainty. That's the cost. It's the trade. It's like he's building a perfect runway, whereas, I just decided to take off with a shitty plane and the bolt's still half loose. And my mate's not giving up at all. By no means. He's just been sort of forced by the constraints of the path he's chosen to pull the goalposts that he originally might have had when he was younger. They've sort of drifted more and more within reach, so they fit within the constraints of the system that he's in. For example, the dream to have a nice big yacht, that shrinks to a supercar. And then the supercar goes from a new model to an old model. And then the empire that you wanted to build becomes, a solid career and a prestigious job title. And the freedom that you dream of becomes, 4 to 5 weeks leave per year and a nice bonus on top. Like, it's not failure by any means. It's self-preservation, stability, and certainty. And it's what most people, this is the path that most people choose. And this path, once you go too far down it becomes harder and harder to leave. And most never do. And what ends up happening is that most men, they don't stop dreaming, but they just start having to dream within reach. Now, for me, it's honestly almost the opposite. The ceiling that I sort of envisioned when I was younger, what I thought might be possible for my life, like I always dreamed big, I always wanted to be successful. But my definition of what success might have looked like, and I remember thinking about this, it was probably, a summer home somewhere and a winter home somewhere, so 2 properties paid off, and nice toys at the properties, nice cars, and a lifestyle that had relative freedom and ability to move around the world and take holidays and things. And now I remember thinking that felt outrageous. Like, when you are on a typical career path, a standard trajectory, climbing the corporate ladder, and you're trying to map out how the hell you're going to go from broke to copping 2 houses, and we're talking about, like, when I was living in New Zealand, I was thinking beach house up in the North Island somewhere, we're talking front line of the beach, and then, a property down in Queenstown with a, beautiful floor to ceiling window view of the lake and mountains. Like, and I'm trying to map out, how the fuck am I going to get this on a shitty salary? Like, it's fucking impossible, right? It's like, so like, that's as big as you're allowed to dream. You're like, maybe I'll climb this ladder to the very top, make partner, and then basically, when I'm fucking 50, like I might be able to get a loan. And I don't know, you just, like, you're constrained in how big you can dream by the structure that you're operating within. And now that same dream, it feels small. With the perspective that I currently have, that to me is like low level wealth. And that feels insane to say because, I'm sitting here saying I'm still very early. But the thing that's changed for me is I now have proof. Like, I've been running my business long enough that I've seen the system that I've effectively created run from start to finish and runs with stability for month after month after month with predictable revenue. And once that happens and you understand what levers you control and what moves the needle, you can actually map out for the very first time a path. It's like, and I explained it to my mate in this fashion. I told him, like, bro, I'm still at base camp right now, but for the first time in my life, I can actually see the path up the mountain. Because I can see it, I'm talking about lifting the ceiling. Rather than squashing my goals down to fit my reality, I'm now wondering, that idea I had back in the day of, what might be the end state, the highest level that I could reach. It's like, I don't think that's big anymore. I think that's just a baseline outcome. Like, that's not that hard to get. It's totally possible. And it's because I know a route up this mountain that before was totally covered in cloud. It's like, now I can see the route. It finally exists. I know that there's a mechanism here. There's a formula. I've sort of figured out how to play in a different structure, in a different game where there's different rules. And once you can do that, then suddenly it opens your mind up to like, holy shit, I can dream again. I can chase bigger things. I've thought a lot about why this happens, like why one person starts to shrink their dreams while other people start expanding their horizon. And I think that ultimately it comes down to feedback loops. Comfort rewards caution and proof rewards courage. When you haven't seen any evidence yet, dreaming big feels like gambling. The world punishes uncertainty. So you protect what's working and you narrow the target so that you can finally exhale. But once you get proof for the first time, even just a single working system, the calculus flips. These big, crazy goals, big dreams, they stop feeling crazy. They start feeling inevitable because you've seen the mechanism. You know how the system works. You've seen it run from start to finish without breaking. When nothing works, ambition feels reckless. Once something works, playing small feels insane. And none of this is criticism, for the record. Like, me and my mates spoke openly about this. We fully debriefed. We do it every single quarter. And I know for sure that he is going to make it. Like, the dreams that he had, he's getting on a yacht. I know that for sure. But what I also know is that right now the system, the way it's designed, he's too capable not to make it, but the system's designed to keep him comfortable long enough to delay that jump. And I can see him sitting there crushing it, building assets, strengthening his position day after day. And the system's just whispering to him, just one more year, and it just doesn't stop. It's another bonus, it's another stock issue, it's another pay rise, it's another job title. There's always another carrot. And I get it. The Matrix rewards good soldiers. It's not winners and losers. It's literally just like two men at different stages of the same escape plan. I know he's going to get the yacht, but he's not going to get the yacht until he actually takes the plunge, until he escapes that system. Nobody sails out of the Matrix. And I think most men eventually face this choice. You either shrink your dream to fit the reality of your life, or you expand your life to fit your dream. I'm just trying to keep lifting the ceiling before life convinces me to lower it. Because I think dreams don't disappear. They just wait for you to grow brave enough to chase them again. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. I drop a video like this every 48 hours and I hope to see you in the next one.